They buried their mother early in the morning, before the heat arrived. Kofi stood still as the last soil covered the grave. His younger brother, Sadiq, did not cry. He just stared, as if his mind had not yet accepted what his eyes were seeing. Their father had disappeared years earlier, and now their mother was gone too. In one quiet moment, the boys became completely alone. From that day on, life became about survival. Kofi was 16. Sadiq was 12. There was no family to help them, no one to guide them. Hunger came quickly and stayed longer each time. Kofi worked wherever he could find work, lifting heavy loads, cleaning construction sites, pushing carts in the market. The pay was small, but it kept him alive. Sadiq helped in smaller ways. He ran errands, cleaned shoes, and listened carefully to the radio whenever he could. He liked listening to voices from faraway places. That was how he first heard about America. To Sadiq, America sounded like hope. A place where people could start over. A place where hard work could actually change a life. He spoke about it often, especially at night when hunger made sleep difficult. At first, Kofi didn't believe in the dream. He believed only in getting through the next day. But Sadiq never let go of the idea. Slowly, Kofi began to listen. They started saving every penny they earned. They skipped meals. They wore the same clothes year after year. They told themselves it would be worth it. But leaving was harder than they imagined. After months of saving every penny, Kofi and Sadiq thought they were finally close to leaving. They had heard of someone in the city who could help them get the necessary documents to travel to America. The man promised a visa, a path forward, a future beyond hunger and struggle. He spoke confidently. He showed them papers that looked official, stamps and signatures that seemed real. He asked for money up front, saying it was needed to cover processing and legal fees. Kofi hesitated. He wanted to ask questions to be sure, but Sadiq urged him to trust him. They reminded themselves of everything they had endured to get this far. It felt like a chance they could not miss. They gave him all the money they had saved for years. Every coin, every bit of hope. Days passed. Then weeks. The man stopped answering calls. The office he claimed to work from was gone. The papers he had given them were fake. There were no visas, no path, nothing. Kofi felt like the ground had been pulled from under him. Sadiq cried silently beside him, but Kofi could barely look at him. Their dream, their sacrifice, their life savings, gone in a moment, stolen by someone who knew exactly how desperate they were. It was more than money. It was betrayal. It was the first time the world had tricked them so cruelly, and Kofi realized that leaving this country would not be easy. Not at all. Then one night, while using an old phone Sadiq had borrowed, something unexpected happened. A message came through. It was from a girl named Maya. She lived in America. They had connected by accident through a shared online group. At first, they talked about music, then about life. Slowly, their conversations became longer and deeper. Maya learned about the brothers, their struggle, and their dream. She listened when Sadiq talked about hunger and hope. She stayed, even when time zones made talking difficult. Over time, she became part of their lives. The brothers tried again to leave Africa, believing they were finally close. But at the border, everything fell apart. Their papers were rejected. They were detained for days, confused and afraid. Then they were sent back. The journey home was quiet. Weeks later, Sadiq fell sick. Sadiq had asthma, though it was not something they talked about often. Most of the time, he was fine. But sometimes, especially when the air was dusty or cold, he struggled to breathe. He once had an inhaler, but it was lost, and replacing it was too expensive. They learned to live with the problem and hoped it would not get worse. That night, Sadiq woke up struggling to breathe. He tried to inhale, but the air would not come in properly. His breathing became fast and shallow, and he started to panic. Kofi woke up and searched for the inhaler, but there was none. Sadiq tried to speak, but he could not form the words. He held his chest and looked at Kofi, clearly frightened. Kofi held him and tried to calm him down, telling him to breathe slowly. But it did not help. Sadiq's breathing became weaker, and after a short time, it stopped completely. By the time help arrived, he was already gone. Kofi stayed beside him, unable to believe that his brother was gone because he could not breathe. The boy who had always talked about the future lost his life in a single night. After that, nothing felt the same. At first, it seemed small. Then it grew worse. There was no money for proper treatment. Kofi stayed beside him day and night, begging him to hold on. Sadiq didn't. He died quietly, leaving Kofi alone in the same world they had fought together. The dream died with him. For months, Kofi barely spoke. He stopped saving, stopped hoping. The road that once called to them now felt like a grave. Every plan reminded him of his brother. Every dream felt like a betrayal. Then one night, his phone buzzed. It was Maya. She had not known Sadiq had died. When Kofi finally told her what happened, she was shocked, she cried, but didn't leave throughout the hardest time, especially the sad nights. She listened as he talked about his brother and stayed by his side through messages. Maya researched how to help him. She found legal advice, explained the immigration process, and guided him step by step. She didn't promise that everything would be easy, but she made sure he wasn't alone. Slowly, Kofi began to trust her. Her concern became support, and her support became hope. In the middle of his grief, she became the bridge to the life he still had a chance to live. Kofi hesitated. Leaving alone felt wrong, like abandoning his brother. But one night, he dreamed of Sadiq smiling and saying, "You have to go. One of us has to make it." After Maya helped him and guided him on how to apply for immigration, Kofi realized he still could not get enough money to leave. He tried everything. Working long hours, saving every coin, but it was never enough. One day, a wealthy man offered him help. The man said he could give him the money he needed to travel, but only if Kofi agreed to do things he knew were wrong. Kofi refused. He could not betray himself, even for the dream he had carried for so long. Time kept moving. The rent on the small house where Kofi lived was about to expire. If he did not pay, he would be forced to sleep on the streets. Desperate, he tried taking a loan, hoping to use it to finally get closer to his dream. But misfortune struck again. On the way home, he was robbed. The money was gone. His phone was stolen too, cutting off almost all contact with Maya. Kofi felt like the world was closing in on him. Alone, with nothing but the streets, he wandered aimlessly. Yet he refused to give up entirely. He found solace in football, playing with friends on the streets whenever he could. It became his escape. It gave him hope. One day, he played in a local field. It was a competition match, and unknown to him, some American officials were there to watch. Kofi played like he had never played before. Fast, precise, fearless. Every move, every goal, every pass caught the eyes of the officials. By the end of the game, he had been selected. They told him he would be sponsored to go to the United States to train and play as a professional footballer, and he would be paid monthly. Kofi cried. It was tears of joy. For the first time, Kofi saw a real path forward. While preparing for the journey, he finally got a new phone and retrieved his old SIM. The first person he reached out to was Maya. He told her everything: the struggles, the losses, the robbery, the threats, and the despair. And then, with a mix of relief and excitement, he said the words he had longed to speak for years. "I'm coming to America." Maya listened, smiled, and promised to wait for him. The dream they had both carried, the dream Sadiq had believed in, was finally within reach.
Carefully read the above write-up and thank you so much for enjoying this short film. See you on live.